looks terrible. Let's see if we can't fix it. Here. Darkness falls across the land. What the hell? No. Go away. Skip. I don't want to watch my ad. Alrighty, well, now that lighting really isn't any better. Oh well, we'll deal with it. Good morning, everyone. What? You're the one who wanted to be in here. You want to be in here, you have to be floor cat. Hey, Oxy. And whomever else might be here. What? What? Fine. Come here. Say hello to the people. Say hello, people. Hello, people. I'm a little complete, short and stout. Long cat. Well, will that be enough for you? That be enough for you? Oh. Let us attempt to get settled. Yeah, I don't like that lighting at all, but it was worse the other way, so. Say, Levy, we're a little scruffy today, too, so excuse us. It's been a long weekend. Been a long past 2 weeks, but we'll get to that. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Hopefully the tablet will behave itself and we won't freak out the chat log. Yes, what? You're not helping. You're not helping. Okay, let's see here. Make sure everything's kosher in Chatland. No, I don't want just the top messages. I want all messages. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. We have Oxy. Good morning. Hello. I'm glad I finally made it again. Yep, you're right on time. Hey, Mark. How's it going? Let's see. Nicole Star Young. Hello. IS, you made it. Yes, you did. Just on time. Actually, we're starting a little late today. It's lazy day-ish type of a thing. So, Lavender System starting early with Kitty. Well, yeah, he wants to be affectionate cat. The trouble is that the studio door and my daughter's room door are like right across the hall from each other, more or less. So he'll want in one or the other, but he'll stand there in the middle of the hallway and howl. So it's a little irritating. So basically just saving myself the trouble and leaving it open, cracked with Mr. Squirrel holding it open there. Mr. Squirrel is a large stuffed squirrel. So, but he makes a great doorstop. So yeah, starting it early with a kitty bomb there. Sad Doggo, wow, I did not think we would catch this, Derek. Hey, Derek, good morning. Glad to see you here. Oxy saying they missed the last 2 streams because they were not at home and had no access to the internet. That would do you. How are you all doing? It's been a mixed bag. We'll get into it here in a minute once the rain starts kicking. Naomi, hello. You're not late. We're just getting started. It's good to see you. Good to see that you're safe considering what's going on in your part of the world. Starry Girl, hello. Hi, long time no see. It's been a roller coaster. We will expect an update from you because folks have been wondering about you. So we'd like to know what's going on with you getting out of the house and getting the job and everything. I believe last time that we heard from you, you had either were looking for a job or just gotten one. So do please update us at some point here. You know how this works. Can hear you and the cat. Okay, excellent. Glad to see that it's going on. Beluga whale. Belugas are great little whales. Very nice, very intelligent, very gentle creatures. So hello to you. Lisa Brower. Hello. Have not seen you in a while, Lisa. It's good to see you again. Let's see here. Nicole Star Young. We're going to call you Nicole. It kind of worked out because until we're told otherwise. Kind of worked out because we had to go feed chickens for your neighbor slash friend anyway. Just got back. Chickens can be fun, but they can also be nasty little creatures too. We used to keep chickens once upon a time, long time ago. Can you see Mr. Squirrel? Sure, give us a second. You can call us Nicole or Nicole's crew. Okay, we'll go with Nicole since we tend to refer to folks according to their YouTube name. We're going to try to stop it from auto focusing so much here and probably make it even worse in the process. Let's see, Star Girl. Oh, really? I'm getting a new job soon, and the apartment is still up in that air because of money. Yeah, we hear you. Let's see. Lavender System, quick question. Did y'all roast the carrots before y'all pureed them or no for the carrot cake? No, they were just raw carrots, just like that. She took and I think it was 1 cup of each, but she took and just shredded up 2 cups of carrots and then took some carrot juice and threw that along with 1 cup of the shredded in the blender, which made the pureed carrots, which you can substitute baby food for, I guess, is what she was saying. But she didn't want to put baby food into the carrot cake, so no, it's just uncooked carrots, just half or 1 cup shredded. And don't quote us. Go back and look at the recipe on the video because that's not stuck in this particular part of the brain. But we do know that they're just raw carrots, so and that you can substitute out nuts or leave them out if you don't want them. She's saying hazelnuts might be a nice change. I don't know. She's the baker. All right, so let's see here. But that's an excellent question. Didn't think you guys would notice I was gone. Laugh out loud. No, of course we noticed that you were gone. Don't be silly. And not just us, but other members here of the crew. You know, I mean, just ask away. We all wanted to know what was going on. Let's see. They are nasty, but our friend is out of town. Yeah, the chickens. They can be really nasty little birds. Lavender System. Thank you. Absolutely. Current job has been emotionally and mentally draining and stress inducing, so I'm getting a new one soon. Yeah, we're actually on that track now ourselves. Of course, we've been trying to get employed for a couple months now, and Tuesday, we finally got a response from one of the places we applied to. So Tuesday we're set, and of course we get it right before the holiday weekend, so the manager's out. You know, she sends us an email, would love to interview, but then it's like the next 4 days or the Thanksgiving holiday, so where it's like, we had to put it off till then. Well, we're getting this weird sense of deja vu. Don't think we've had this conversation before. No, we haven't had this conversation before. But anyway, so Tuesday is when we go in for our interview, so hopefully we'll find out after that. So finally some movement on that, and it came about because of the good old dropping off applications and resumes, the way that things used to be that we're used to. So win one for old school, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Yes, we'll show you Mr. Squirrel. Give us a second. This is Mr. Squirrel. And a large squirrel he is, as you can see. He has no front legs. I think he started off life as a chew dog. Well, I don't think he ever actually had front legs, but he started off life as a chew toy. And so at one point, to make him into a doorstop, I just simply took and unstuffed him and filled him up with rice. And this is Mr. Squirrel. So there you see. Okay, we will try closing the door. And maybe we won't be cat bombed so much. Excuse us if we look a little scruffy today. We were out last night taking our daughter ice skating for her birthday present, because we kind of started a family tradition of doing that about 2 years ago, actually. But unfortunately, last year, for the longtime viewers, you know, we had to have surgery done on our right foot because our Achilles tendon needed to be lengthened, which was a lot of fun. And it happened right around this time, so we were not able to go last year. So this year, we went ahead and went. Unfortunately, as a result of that surgery, we're no longer able to ice skate. We did one round around the rink, and it was just too painful. The boots were digging right into our ankle bones, and it hurt. It really hurt. So it's one of these where it's like, okay, we know that this is going to put us in agony, so we're going to be smart people and just simply sit down on the side of the ice rink and film her and take pictures and shout encouragement, but it was just too damn painful, unfortunately. So might have to find something else, or I don't know. We'll figure something out. But sore little beat today. Okay, let's see here. Where were we? According to us, getting anyone stew. Nicole loves hazelnuts. Yeah, hazelnuts are great. 420 Witch. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you, hon. Let's see. Yay, and yeah, busy as hell now. Yeah, the holiday season, definitely. Let's see. Nicole saying exactly. Star Girl, bad things are looking up. Money issues suck. We're no stranger to that. Amen. I don't think any of us are. Especially not us these past couple of weeks, but again, we'll get into that. It's been one of those. Infinity System has a run of bad luck. Yeah, see, Starry, so good to see you in the chat. How are you, Mark? I don't recall whether I've been here since, but I started a new job after a year out of work in August. New leadership role for us. Excellent news, Mark. As we recall, you were with Google or a Google affiliate recently, if the memory nugget is serving things correctly. So yeah, excellent. Great news on that. Congratulations. Beluga, good luck with the interview. I'm sure it'll go great for you. Yeah, we always interview well. I mean, I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything, but that was one of the things. I mean, they literally gave us classes on how to go in and interview. We would do mock interviews. I don't know if they do that stuff anymore, but when we went to business school way back when. Let's see here. Oxymoron, I love him. Thanks. That would be Mr. Squirrel. Yeah, absolutely. The only trouble is that he tends to leak a little. He leaks a few grains of rice out of where we stuffed him, and so they tend to be a little pile near where he's at. Let's see here. Lavender System disability hearing was a hot mess. Didn't care about any of the new diagnoses, and the only thing they cared about is how many times theoretically we might go to the bathroom. God, we were so pissed. Yeah, our hearing was not that great either, because we had previously claimed for back issues, which we do have because of trauma, several times before that, and we're just denied, and then finally we've got the DID on there and got stuff up the wazoo, and they were focused on the bad back issues, and it's like, are you not hearing the part and all of that in that 4-inch pilot documentation in front of you there that says that we become a 2-year-old at the drop of a hat who doesn't know how to drive? It's like, maybe a good thing. I don't know. We don't know if we're going to try again. Honestly, we're so burned down on it. But that's also part of another, just thinking long term, another reason why we wanted to switch back to our current and original, our original and current clinic, who has done more for us in the 2 months that we switched that the other crappy place did in 2 years, which is another good thing. I think we said last time that that's right. Last time we said that our old therapist was willing to take us back. I'm not sure how much we shared, so we'll just redo it. Our old therapist was willing to take us back, but it was on a cash-only basis, which was one of the things that precipitated us to look for a job. But that just wasn't happening until just now. So anyway, our clinic actually managed, despite there being a year-long wait for a therapist, managed to find us a therapist. Not only that, but one who has dealt with trauma and has dealt with DID systems as well. So from nowhere, in less than 2 months, they managed to bump us seriously up the list and get us in with a qualified trauma therapist and one who was familiar with DID. And we've had 2 sessions now. Of course, the first couple of sessions are just, getting to know you. This is who we are. This is our system structure and whatnot. She's like, you've done a lot of work in 4 years. It's like, you think? But no, she seems to be really nice, and there wasn't any automatic, this person is not for us. So it's one of these where it's like, okay, hope you're prepared for the can of worms we're about to uncork in therapy here. So last time was just a real brief overview of most of us and some of the more prominent examples of Christopher's trauma. I know that she wants to dig back into that in our next session, which will be Wednesday, the day after our interview, because we had told her briefly about Jenny and Jane, who, if you guys don't know, our longtime viewers know who Jenny and Jane are. If those of you who don't, in the little stories, you'll see a portrait towards the end there before it goes through the door of two blonde-haired girls. Those are Jenny and Jane. For information on who they were, we suggest that you go watch Christopher's story, which is one of our older videos, but it tells the story of Christopher and Jenny and Jane and who they were and what happened with them and to them. It's a trigger warning gut check, but if you're not familiar with them, that's where you can find out. It's Christopher's story, as long as we remember you. So it's a sad story though. So we know that she wants to dig into those. So yay, therapist, got that back in there, and also, don't need to pay out of pocket for that. And we did just have the interview coming up with a job. So those are the good things. Let me catch up on the chat log here before we get into the rest of the stuff, because we've seen a lot of people come in. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, back to Mr. Squirrel. Disability hearing with lavender system. Yeah, we feel you completely there. Nicole saying, how cute for Mr. Squirrel there. Such a cute squirrel. And I am still such a child, but still Derek. Don't worry about it, Derek. I sleep with, half a dozen hippos because it helps Christopher to sleep at night. So I have Lippo, little hippo, big hippo. Sorry. The brain just went completely blank. I got a lot of hippos on the headboard that, double as pillows as well. Bitsy and Betsy, and then of course, there's one more, but I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. Still a little soupy up here. Let's see here. Help they get better for you, Star Girl. Yeah, absolutely. Lavender system. Couldn't let the judge have a piece of our mind for wasting 10 years of our time because we were afraid of getting contempt of court. Well, it's not actually a court in that way. It's a hearing. They're not actually a judge, or maybe they are. I don't remember too much of ours. Other than like yours, it was a pointless waste of time. Maldwin, hello, good to see you again. Let's see, lavender system. Then our lawyer after said we may not qualify for disability because we haven't worked enough in our life. What in the actual heck? Yeah, that is one of the requirements. We're assuming that you're here in the U.S. You have to have enough work credits that you have worked throughout your life in order to get them. We have the amount of work credits, fortunately. But yeah, if you're a younger person, that might be an issue for you. The whole process is just so unfair and so stacked against you. It really is. And then, of course, to make it worse, there are those people who fake it, and as a result, no, I am not going to futz with it. It's centered enough. And makes it 10 times harder for the rest of us. Let's see here. Sucks that apartments apartments are expensive all over, Starry Girl. Finding your peace amongst the chaos. Good. Stay strong, stay your course, stay your ground. Think about how far you've come already. Okay. Don't give yourself some credit for what you've done. Let's see. Sad to hear the foot is not all good. I mean, it's fine for normal use. You can barely tell, but the minute that we stuck that, ice skate on our foot, it's like, no, this isn't going to happen. Let's see, 420 Witch, my kitty not too well, had to have an emergency appointment at vets and small surgery, home now, but still not 100%. Oh no. Ours, was it last month? I think he took off tearing across the yard at a high rate of speed when we were walking in one night. Just, how they get a bug up their butt. And he actually, I'm not sure if he sprained his paw, I think. And so he was limping around for a good week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah, kitty owies are no good. We hope that yours gets better. Okay, let's see here. Mark is saying left Google in February of 2022. Okay, we thought so. Worked another job from April to August of 22nd, but quit after having lost our children. That kept me out of work to rebalance myself. Yeah, well, you would need to after that. Let's see. Starry Girl, got to go back to work. Hope to see you all later. Have a good day or night. You too. Take care, self-care, and thank you for popping in because everybody was kind of worried about you. So. Okay, let's see here. So sorry to hear that, Mark. Our hearts and condolences go out to you. Yes. Let's see. Staying at Starry Girl, the apartments are way too expensive. Yeah, absolutely. We're fortunate that we have the house. We're on the last 10, 11 years of our mortgage. Another 10 years from now, or 11 years, I think the wife calculated it out, we'll actually be done with the mortgage and own the home and the land, lock, stock, and barrel. Okay, but at least it'll be done for the kids, later on. Won't be hanging over the family. Let's see here. Where were we? Kind of surprised that Five Pieces of Nine hasn't signed on yet. Maybe they'll pop in after a while. Let's see here. Let's see. This apartment's expensive. Start a good one. Mark saying thank you to Nicole. Hubby and they have gotten through that and are doing well enough. We also picked up and relocated from Pittsburgh down to the Raleigh area, South Carolina. Nice. Oh, let's see. Anything's got to be better than Pittsburgh, right? I've been through Pittsburgh a couple times. Let's see here. Everybody saying bye to Starry. Daft Wooly, hey, welcome. Managed to catch a stream pretty early. Nice, not at all. We started about 15 minutes late too, because we're still kind of sluggish this morning. Holiday Blaws. You heard really good planner, excellent. Let's see. Nicole says your therapist the one. Oh, okay. Is the therapist the one that we've shared? I've been thinking about doing a deal with her about possibly talking to her off insurance limitations. Yeah, now we know who you are. Hello there. Yes. Well, no. Our when we say that she's our old therapist that was willing to see us again on a cash basis outside of her work because she didn't take our insurance. Yes, that is who we were referring to. Our new therapist that the clinic just got us is not the same. So unfortunately, it just wasn't going to work out because we couldn't pay the therapist that we're both familiar with. We couldn't pay her fee out of pocket without a job, and by that time, the clinic had found us a therapist through the system. So no, it's not the one that we're already familiar with. But at least this one does. Our new one does have does the trauma work and is familiar with DID and whatnot. So and seems to be doing pretty well. So not the same new one in our case, but yeah, you might want to call her. The one that we both ended up going to. For those of you who are kind of the film, like, okay, what is going on here? As it turns out, we actually found out that we shared the same therapist at one point, and kind of did like a spy talk thing to clarify that we were both talking about the same person. As it turns out, we were. But yeah, you might want to give her a holler. I know she had one free day a week left that she was willing to take us on, so you might want to give her a holler. I'm sure you probably still have her contact information, since she won't be needing that slot for us. So we'll that's what we can tell you is she was willing to do that for us. She might be willing to do it for you, but we can't speak to her on that. So okay, let's see here. So hopefully, yeah, Nicole, that will answer your question there. She was always willing to work with us, so I'm sure that she might be able to extend the same courtesy to you, but we can't speak for her either. So let's see. Definitely, oof, new therapist is always super scary for me. Had some less than stellar experiences, but also some truly awesome ones. Yeah, we got lucky with this one because she gut says we'll be able to work with her. She seems open and sincere, which goes a long way, and doesn't seem to have an agenda about DID. But again, we've just we're in our third session will be this coming Wednesday, so we're still in the early stages, but the signs are good. Let's see here. Clover, did I show up too late? No, not at all. We got started. We've only been going for about maybe 20 minutes, so don't worry about it. You're right on time. Let's see here. 420 Witch, Kitty had a blocked bladder that made him very unwell. Yeah, crystals in the urine probably. Had a catheter in during it, but can happen again, and he's just not over that and might need to go back. Yeah, he'll need to go back eventually anyway to be nurtured, but the bladder thing can happen again. Now that it's happened once. Yeah, we lost a neighbor's cat due to that. We were actually watching them, and this is a long time ago, but we were taking care of the cat, and he went into distress, and unfortunately that's what it was, and they had to, put him down, which really sucked. It's like, happy vacation, your cat's dead. That was back when we were like teenagers, very long time ago, but that kind of sticks with us. So we'll send some good energies to your way. We'll ask Bast and Bastet and them to look in on your kitty. Let's see, Natalie, hello, welcome, Wiley Shadowstar. Whoop, I made it, laugh out loud. Yeah, we kind of run it at odd times. Lots of new folks coming in, good to see you guys, welcome. We'll go over the rules here shortly. They're real easy, excuse us. Nicole saying, laugh out loud, gotcha, glad you found one that is familiar with DID. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she is amazing, definitely. So yeah, contact her, give her a holler. Let's see here. JJ, hey, hello, been watching for a while. I'm losing my therapist of 3.5 years due to his terminal illness. Ooh, ow, that hurts. Kind of lost right now. Thanks for listening. Hey, not at all, JJ. We're glad you're here. Let's see, Daft Willie. Yeah, in many cases, a trauma specialist fired me since your case is too complex for me, which my brain interpreted as you are too messed up for therapy, did wonders for my confidence. We can see how you took it that way, Wooly, but to be dead honest, it's a good thing that she was, recognizing her limitations and was willing to step back and let somebody more qualified handle that, because she didn't want to do you more damage is what it's saying like there. So yeah, while it sucks, that was actually probably a good thing on the part of your therapist. And no, of course you're not too messed up for therapy. It's just that she was not qualified to give you the kind of help that you need. Unfortunately, and this is something that we've ran across ourselves, when you're dealing with DID and the dissociative conditions, it's a specialized area. And unfortunately, COVID put a big strain on the therapeutic system because everybody was staying home and mental health issues and whatnot. So unfortunately, there was that trickle-down effect of where therapists who were doing, the dissociative work or qualified for it got burned out, and just the field kind of thinned out. But again, we are a very small subset in the psychiatric community, so it can be very difficult to find somebody who has, who does trauma work, but is also familiar with DID and the dissociative conditions and knows how and is willing to work with systems. So I know it probably felt like a blow to your ego, but she was actually they were actually looking out for you. And wanted to make sure that you got the best help that you could. Definitely know that it didn't feel like that, but it's good that you had a therapist who was willing to take that step back rather than screw you up any more than you already have been. So mixed bag there, but that's our read on it. Take that for what you will. Which is why we feel so lucky that we, because we moved back to our old clinic and they're like, well, we have a waiting list for any therapist. It's like, okay, let's get ourselves on that wait list, please. And sure enough, in less than 2 months, they managed to shake one out of a tree for us. So, of course, when your, client comes in and saying, yeah, we got a little self-harm going on here, kind of need therapy to work through this trauma stuff, we're beyond the basics of, okay, here's how to breathe and whatnot. So, it was nice to be taken seriously, and that they actually did manage to find somebody for us. So we count ourselves lucky again, fortunately. Let's see here. So Daft Willie eventually found their way back to therapy and now is going really well. Good to hear that. Heartful Beat. Hey, hello there. Good to see you. Welcome to all of our new folks. 420 Witch Kitty is called Logan. Okay, we will make sure to send good wishes by name there. Halfway through your allotted therapy sessions and your therapist has noticed it's causing some great anxiety. Well, of course, yeah. Your allotted therapy is getting ready to end 420, so yes, it's going to cause anxiety. Not a thunder shaking revelation on your therapist part there, but yeah, what else are you supposed to feel? Let's see, Sad Doggo, or I'm sorry, Derek is saying that they are a little quiet because you have morning chores. By the way, Rosemary, you might like this. Did you know you can make marinara with beets, pumpkin puree, and other traditional Italian ingredients? I did not. I'm not sure if she did or not. She's sleeping or doing whatever, they do when they retreat. Sleeping, I think. Let's see. Clover, whoa, I just realized I'm dissociated as hell right now. Trippy. Heartful Beat wants to know if we ever done any EMDR stuff. No, we have not. Our initial trauma therapist told us, and after doing research on it, told us that because of the fact that we are so fragmented and we fragmented so early and we suffer from flashbacks so frequently, that EMDR would probably not be a good idea for us because of the way that it works. It's essentially you're more or less forcing yourself to have a flashback, maybe a guided flashback, but then it's because the trauma memory gets locked in there when the stress response cycle is at its height. It never actually resolves. We went over this on a lot. Most recently, our theory of structural dissociation vid, where we go into more detail on it. Thanks, guys, for watching that and being willing to slog through it. We know it was probably one of our more technical type videos because the paper that we were summating was extremely technical. But to come back to the point, it would not, the TLDR of it would be she did not think that it would be of a benefit for us because of our being polyfrag and us having, so many flashbacks. She didn't want us to get caught in a loop, the flashback loop, where it never actually resolves. So she explained her reasons for it and the psychobiology behind it, and we were in agreement with her. So we've never actually had EMDR for that reason. And then, of course, as data has been researching our condition and, scholarly articles and whatnot, he's found, like the MRI and stuff, he's found evidence to back up our therapist our original therapist who knows her shit inside out, upside down, backwards, and forwards. So, whoops, just dropped the tablet. So we decided to trust her on that. So we have not had EMDR, and if our new therapist offers it, we will more than likely, pass on it and explain to her our reasons why. We've kind of played around with the idea of maybe giving it a shot in a session, but we're only now at the point with our new therapist to where that might even become a thing. We're kind of waiting to see whether or not she is going to recommend it or inquire about it with us. But we're still definitely leaning heavily on the side of no. Now, that's not to say that it may not work for you or, because each system is a little bit different. We're all, on a different level of the dissociative scale, whether you're, with PTSD or you're all the way down here with us, so, with DID on the bottom as a tertiary. But the way that it was explained to us, and according to the research, the farther down the dissociative scale you are, the less. EMDR is more designed for the first couple levels, the primary and the secondary levels of structural dissociation. I think it's what do they call it? Diminishing benefits, a scale of diminishing benefit as it goes down. But again, we are not professionals. Talk to your therapist about it, and keep in mind it's one of these things where if you do try it and it doesn't turn out to work for you, then they'll work around it, or there are a lot of other tools that they can use. So a long answer to your question, have we ever done EMDR work? No, we have not. That's why, but that's not to say that it may not work for some of you. We know that it has been very effective for some folks. So definitely something that you might want to explore. Excuse us. Let's see. 420 saying hope therapist extends their sessions. Yes, for sure. Thought of EMDR enforcing a memory and flashback scares me. Yeah, exactly. That right there. Their Majesty, sleeping is a wonderful way to put that, especially when our inner world is majorly bedroom. So you've got the bedroom things as well. Yeah, it's like a series of doors, We may need to borrow that phrase feel to go right ahead, the wonders of the headspace and how it works. There are some similarities, but every system, works a little bit differently. It's like, how do you explain a realm that is basically thought, and perceptions, and that may vary amongst 12 different people. It's kind of this mishmash type of a thing, but we did one visual representation of the headspace, the glade, which is where Arielana shelters the littles, basically, where they live, quote unquote. It was kind of primitive in a 3D modeling program that we use. We've thought about redoing it now that we're more familiar with it. But there are several other bubbles of perception that we have thought about trying to, get out of the headspace for a visual representation. We may get to that at some point in the future, but it really hasn't been on our list of high priority items yet. But the headspace is definitely a fascinating place. Let's see here. Daft Willie saying, yeah, certain kinds of therapy only make sense when you've reached certain points in your journey, or even may never make sense in your specific case, even if it helped others. Yeah, they're all tools, various tools that may work for you, but may not work for somebody else. Let's see here. Heartbeat full or heartful beat. Thank you so much for your answer. That makes a lot of sense. Anytime. If you guys, you new folks, feel free to ask us any questions, either in the chat log here or comments on the videos on the channel. We are very open to those. If there's ever a question that we're not familiar with, or not familiar with, or we're not comfortable with answering, we'll let you know right up front. Don't need to worry about that. So ask away. Let's see here. Oxymoron saying that they heard the explanation that EMDR may not be so good for DID because most of the time more than one part is involved in the memory. So it can trigger more and more things instead of solving anything. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting at it. Let's see. Nicole signing off. Talk to you lovely people later. Goodbye. Be safe. Drink water. And remember, you're loved, you're strong, and you're not alone. And yeah, go ahead and get in contact with her and see if she might be able to work that out with you, okay? Hope that works out well for you because she's a great therapist. Okay, let's see, Oxymoron, we got the bedrooms too, but yeah, also ours is pretty much just gray fog, except for, the various bubbles / doorways to the various perceptive realms. It really doesn't have a lot of structure to it. Okay, let's see, this is a good point to break and go over the rules for you new folks. We've got 22 of you on today. That's a pretty good count for us for a stream. So, new folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to our wonderful world of chaos. There we have a few rules on our live streams that also can, go over to the channel. They are, and our longtime listeners, you can go ahead and chant these off with us. Rule number 1, you have the right to your opinion. Rule number 2, you have the right to state your opinion. Rule number 3, you do not have the right to abuse other people with your opinion. Rule number 4, don't start crap, don't post porn links, don't troll, don't try to stir the pot, and generally just don't start trouble. We've been on the internet a very long time. We have been everything from forum administrators to obviously YouTube channel hosts. You're not going to pull any wool over our eyes. We know all the tricks. Just save yourself and us some problems. And we do have mods that will go ahead and ban you outright. And that is just basically our response. Don't discuss politics, religion, or sex unless it's within the boundaries of the conversation. The last one, sex, is the one that basically gets that. Those are the rules. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have for us. We'll answer if we're able and we're comfortable doing so. That's basically all that there is to it. Them's the rules. They apply on the live streams as well as comments on the channel. Also, if your comments happen to disagree with our point of view, or you have something that you think may piss us off, as long as you put it politely and refrain from personal attacks, we do not delete comments. We leave them up. And if you go across, run across some of our more controversial videos from our subjects, we don't often poke our toes into that collective mess, but there have been a few times when we have felt it necessary to comment on current, or what was current then, goings on in the online DID community. We leave the comments up. We believe in, I don't want to say free speech, but that's basically it. This is more or less, and our channel is more or less the old idea of a forum where everybody shares their opinions and their experiences politely with each other, and we all gain as a whole as well as individually. So them's the rules. Just mind your P's and Q's, be polite is the gist of it, and we won't have any problems. We've only had to ban like less than 6 people from the channel, mainly for, taking the personal attacks and things like that. State your opinion, state it politely, and it'll stay up there. So that's all there is to that. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Okay, so let's see here. Where were we? And again, our live streams tend to be a lot more freeform. They're actually more about the community as a whole, the viewers. You guys have formed the community. We're just kind of the room that everybody is chatting in. So think of it that way. It's less about directly Qing and Aing us, although we're happy to do that. And as you know, we'll go on and on and on and on and on, but it's more about everybody rather than just being our show. Okay, so let's see here. Alex is saying they got the bedrooms too, but other things also. Wiley Shadowstar saying we do EMDR occasionally with certain parts, but we've been in therapy for more years than I care to admit, but it's really hit and miss. Yeah, we just basically decided it wasn't for us. It was just safer that way. Let's see here. Beluga Whale, what's the real stance on Rickrolling joke? It's a great song, but yeah, try to avoid from posting links, not because we really mind, but because it interrupts the flow of the stream. And most links that get posted here, we've got an automated, rather YouTube has an automated filter, so chances are it might get shunted off to that, and we won't actually see it until after the stream is over. You'd be surprised how little control YouTube actually gives you over certain things. So, but we love a little Rick Astley. 421, which is what's Rick rolling. Yeah, that's like the oldest one of the oldest internet memes / jokes. It's all right. It's never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. That. Basically, it lifted a 1980s song out of obscurity and pushed it to the forefront of the internet. Yeah, 420, which don't feel bad about that. It's just probably because you're over there in the UK, and it's more of an American thing, I think. I know that song though, laugh out loud. Natalie, hello. Recommendations for brand new out of denial systems. Where to begin? Therapy, get yourself a good therapist if you possibly can. Other than that, research. Let's see, for brand new out of denial systems, we're going to assume that you're moving out of the denial and you're like, okay, yeah, this is a real thing. Okay, yes, this is actually happening to us. Educate yourself. You just find out what speaks to you. There's not a whole hell of a lot of reliable, up-to-date information out there. This is why we source our stuff, our educational stuff, so carefully. We always provide the links to the academic papers or our sources in the description below. So you might want to go back over our old excuse us, over our catalog of informational videos. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of videos will feed into each other. If you're already out of the denial phase, it's denial is one of those things that you're going to fight with, or at least that we fought with throughout, our entire journey. So we did a 3-part series on it called Denying DID. There's 3 parts. There's a part of the condition where we show a vlog recording, a video recording of us when we were, in 2019, just barely diagnosed. And then part 2 is called Trauma Doesn't Lie, where we share something that our therapist, our good trauma therapist at the time, shared with us that's great for fighting the denial. And then the last one is called We Believe You, which deals with validation, which is something very important. And we will actually go back and re-watch those generally at least once or twice a year, just because the lessons still pertain, and you know how stuff tries to trickle out of your mind. There are some good things we recommend book-wise. Reading The Body Keeps the Score by a gentleman called Bessel van der Kolk. It is not DID specific, but it does deal deeply with PTSD and CPTSD and the dissociative conditions. There are a couple of other good websites out there. We don't have the list of us in front of us at the moment. Also, there's another book called, it's older, but it's called The Haunted Self, and I can't remember who the authoress was on that. We'll try to remember and stick it in the description afterward, after the video is done processing. But those will give you some good starting points. Like I said, we do cover a lot of information in our educational videos. There's one in particular. It is a tough slog to get through, but it's helped a lot of folks. It's called Learning to Love Again: Sex, Trauma, and DID, where we go into how your sex life is, how sex is intertwined, both good and bad, with DID forever, and how it will affect your sex life, how it will affect you. Some things that you can do to help minimize that. If you have a partner, hopefully you have an understanding partner who's willing to work through the issues, because there is a lot. There's a lot that gets affected by it. We experience great, we have our own challenges in that area that we continually work on, and it's really tough because it's literally a biochemical process where where the abuse and the sexual abuse, for those of you who have experienced that, becomes tied with your sexual reflex. So the trauma is forever there to deal with, rearing up its ugly little head when you try to be intimate with someone. And we do deal with that as well, the intimacy issues as well as the sexual issues. So you might want to check that one out. All of our stuff, if you're not familiar with it already, we put trigger warnings on the heavier issues. And we do deal with the heavy issues here. Don't say that we didn't warn you. When we give a trigger warning, we expect you to to practice viewer discretion when we advise it. We don't pull punches. So watch out when you're looking for those. But by the same token, we don't trigger warning every little thing. So just be aware of what you're getting into on those heavier episodes. So that's just kind of a good general thing. We try to avoid recommending other YouTube channels just because information can change, channels can change. There's a lot of misinformation out there that we found. The two that we can recommend, neither one of them are currently producing content, but they do still have the backlog of their content up, are the Entropy System, which helped us a great deal when we were early on in our journey, and Multiplicity and Me, who worked very hard towards their final fusion and their functional multiplicity, and have since went on, and I believe they're working in or getting their degree in the medical field now to help out, which is not something that is all that uncommon amongst mental health, folks with mental health issues. They later on become advocates. So hopefully that'll give you a good idea of some place to start. Okay, so let's see here. So Natalie, hopefully that'll give you someplace to start. Definitely read The Body Keeps the Score, though. It's a little dry, but he gives so much good information in there. And actually, there are lectures with him on DID. Oh yeah, two other channels that we did not mention are NICABM, NICABM, I think, and then there's another channel on YouTube called the CTAD, CT as in Tom, AD Clinic, the CTAD Clinic with Dr. Mike Lloyd. They are accredited. It's professionals. He gives a lot of good episodes with a lot of really great information. They just put up one yesterday or today. We haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but that is a reliable source right there. So check out the CTAD Clinic, and then the NICAB one. That's more leaning directly towards the professional side. It's more for professionals and like giving info to professionals, but data being data, as you guys know, can pick through that stuff and make it understandable. So those are our suggestions. Try those out. We really need to drop a list of those. Okay, so let's see. Oh no, now I have what is called an earworm in German. It's called an earworm over here as well, so don't feel bad about that. Daft Woolly, God, I love 80s music. Yeah, that was the one good thing about that era. We had the best music from 1981 on through around 1989. It was kind of like the golden age of 80s music. Let's see. Hey, Rick Dassley was never obscure for me. Yeah. Sorry, PC is going nuts. Don't worry about it, Oxy. Let's see here. Clover saying to Natalie, I would also say to be as welcoming as you can to the other parts rather than being hostile. I was so hostile at the beginning for years, and that didn't help at all. Yeah, generally, the more you fight, the worse it's going to get. Oh, yeah, don't poke the bear. Don't go chasing after your trauma and looking for it, because it's going to come out all on its own. Trust us on this one. Please don't poke the bear. At least not until you have a therapist. Okay, let's see here. 420 Witch recommend watching old videos on YouTube from channels. Yeah, exactly. 420 Witch is giving you the same one there. Thank you. No problem. Absolutely. Clover, heading out now. Nice to see everyone and get to stop by on this chat. Hope you have a great day and night. Thank you very much, Clover. Hope to see you next month. It'll be after Christmas. So we'll just wish you Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whichever, Yule celebration that you celebrate. Okay, let's see. Chloe, yes, thanks. Oxy saying the haunted self was Nietzsche, Who, Steele, and Vanderhart. Yeah, the same three that just wrote the paper that we covered on the theory of structural dissociation. Same authors. So yeah, that's a good one right there. Thank you, Oxy. Thank you. I didn't realize that was the same three. Okay, let's see here. Daft is saying, yeah, if Infinity gives a trigger warning, they mean it. Sorry, at least we warn you. Let's see. Beluga saying multiplicity and me are fantastic. They were really helpful to me when we first started noticing symptoms. Yeah, they were because we went looking like everybody does. And a couple of the larger channels just didn't click for us. But when we found Entropy System, it was a connection there. And they and Multiplicity and me seem to lean more into the science of it rather than the cutesy aspects of it. Read between the lines here for what we're saying. And we're really glad that they left their content up. Yay for CTAD Clinic. Yeah, absolutely. Blue Rose, hello Blue, good to see you. Let's see here. Lavender System, going to end up watching the vid of this because we don't really have the mental fortitude at the moment, but glad we caught what we did. Y'all be well. Okay, Lavender System, take it easy on yourself. Drink water. Relax. The holidays are a very stressful time for all of us, so keep that in mind and do a lot of self-care. Thank you for stopping in. Let's see. Derek saying that our host poked the bear and now our host is no longer our host. He burned out. We have a new host, but to be fair, we needed a change for a different reason too. Yeah, Derek, it's poking the bear is a bad idea. And it goes against everything that your insides are screaming because your, entire chunks of your life have been stolen from you. And you want to know what the hell happened. It's a natural instinct. But unfortunately, poking that bear is not a good idea because the stuff that will come out, you're not psychologically ready to deal with. You don't have the tools for it yet. And it can be so overwhelming. I mean, like, well, you would believe, but, So yeah, don't poke the bear. Lisa saying her mom's birthday is tomorrow. She's been gone for 23 years. Still gets to me so strange. Yeah, it's those mental associations that go along with, those are the life stressor events that we talk about frequently, births, deaths, marriages, moving, changing of job, things like that. It's like, hopefully if we get this job, fingers crossed, we'll have completed the cycle into the next big change in our life, getting back into the workplace, into the workplace, because we've been doing the delivering for Amazon. So yeah, it's not that we were ever out, but there's a big difference between that and then actually being in an environment with the public. So we're hoping that we're up to that. Especially since Amazon just upgraded their app, and now the phone that we have will no longer work with the app. We have to upgrade your phone in order to deliver. Yeah, thank you, Amazon. Read between the lines here. Jerks. So it's coming along at the right time, but this whole changeover in going back to our original clinic and finding a new therapist and the job, it's all happening at the same time, and these are all life stressor events that put strain on your system. And then even if you're just a neurotypical, like we believe you are, they're still stressors. They're still putting you psychologically under stress and all these changes. So yeah, Deaths are one of the big ones, particularly if you happen to, well, either way, if you happen to be close to them or if you happen to have an adversarial relationship with them. Um, we know when our egg donor finally kicks the bucket, if she hasn't already. Frankly, we don't care either way. Yeah, that sounds terrible and cold, but we just don't. We know that we're going to have to deal with that. There will be a psychological mess to clean up because of that once we know that she's finally off the planet, hopefully, and going and getting what she deserves. Sorry, we're breathing and we're breathing. Aha, there's 5 pieces of 9. Hello, 5. Good to see you. We were wondering when you were going to show up or if you were going to show up. Blue and 5 coming in at the same time. Let's see here. So yeah, just give yourself some credit and give yourself some slack, Lisa. It's okay. That's a common thing. 420 what's saying about they found multiplicity in me's YouTube. They were in a British documentary program about mental health. Yeah, I think I know the one that you're talking about. 5 pieces 9 present. Yes, hello. 420 Witch. Lisa sending hugs. Lost my mom 24 years ago this Christmas Eve. Oh, a holiday death. Yeah, that's one of the weird things about our family is that the women seem to die on or around holidays. Maybe that's more common than we thought. It's like our grandmother, who we love dearly, one of the few stable positive influences in our life. She died on Memorial Day, so easy to remember on that one. Let's see here. Daft Willie, yeah, for some of your videos, I really need breaks in between to watch it all, grounding myself in between, but they are still very much worth watching. Thank you very much, Willie. Yeah, we try to warn you guys beforehand, and that was just we do cover the heavy stuff because somebody needs to. We need to get down. It's not all fluff, and it's not all let's guess which altar and put on makeup and this and that and the other thing. That may work fine for other people, but it doesn't. We felt that there was a thirst for, dealing with the harder things. I mean, no, trauma is not easy to talk about, and you have to be cautious about it, but they're the basis for trauma, why it works, the things that you'll deal with when going through it, what you're going to expect, what causes it, how everything all ties together. We weren't really finding any of that information when we were looking around, or at least it just kind of glossed over the surface, and we went, there needs to be a little bit more out there, and we'll give it our best shot. So we are glad that it speaks to you guys and that you're willing to take breaks in between, and most importantly that you are taking those breaks and practicing safe viewing. Thank you very much for doing that, because we do worry sometimes, but we're never sure exactly what content is going to hit and what won't. It's like we really didn't expect to see as many views on the theory of structural dissociation as we've gotten on it so far. We're like, oh, this is really academic and nobody is going to want to sit through this. But, well, surprise, surprise. It's really a hit or miss thing. So, but thank you. We appreciate that you're willing to stick with it. Good to see you come in 5 pieces of 9. So let's see, what have we covered? We've covered getting a new therapist, job interview on Tuesday, and we haven't covered the week of hell. Yeah, so the things tend to go in cycles, and you ever have this feeling that the universe or God or whatever, fate, tends to kick you when you're down just to get that one good, kicking you a little bit extra. That happened to us this past couple of weeks because so it's kind of ironic. We had a whole trailer full of trash that we needed to take down to the dump. But in order to do that, we need our wife to switch cars on it. It's our daughter goes to college, so that's one car, and then our wife, uses our car to go to work and whatnot. So on the days when the daughter is at home, we can ask the wife to switch back to her car so we can have ours to go. Well, we had done that because we needed to take the trash down to the dump, but she was busy in the morning and forgot, which actually turned out to be, it rearranged our day, but it rearranged it in a good way because it enabled us to discover a problem that needed to be taken care of, like right away. For those of you who live in cold climates, you might be familiar with this. As it gets colder, the amount of hot water coming out of your hot water heater, seems to tamp down a bit, and you can actually increase the thermostat on the hot water heater itself to make it a little bit warmer. You got to be very careful when you do that, though, because you can easily turn the heat up to where you can scald yourself. But we're next door neighbors with a guy who did plumbing for like 30 plus years, so he told us about it, and so we would do that. So the hot water had been getting not as hot and didn't seem to be lasting as long. So we figured, oh, okay, well, it's starting to get colder finally. We'll go out and we'll adjust the thermostat and see where it's at. So we go out there and we open up the door because thing on the outside of the house. And lo and behold, we look down and what do we see? We see rust streaks all over the place. And at the bottom, we see a large pool of water on the floor that has obviously been there for long enough to start to swell the underlayment. It's like, oh my God, that feeling when your stomach drops out from underneath you because it's like, oh great, hot water heater's bad. This is going to be like, $500-$600 here at the minimum. And it's like, oh shit. And actually there's a lesson in here for you guys, for us as well, because we immediately start leaping to the, oh my God, the wife is just going to have a shit fit over this. And we're expecting a great big huge reaction and maybe an argument or something. I mean, even though there wasn't anything that we could have done about it. And of course, all of that proved to us. So we had managed to work ourselves up into a lather, and we're like, it's like, oh my God, we don't have any money for this. And how are we going to do this? Where are we going to rob Peter to pay Paul and everything? And it's like, oh, we were like literally almost in tears by the time she got home. And as it turns out, of course, it was we didn't have to worry about it. It was completely unfounded. She didn't freak out. It was just like, it's just one of these things. And as it turns out, she had been tucking, her oldest son pays us rent because he works outside the home and whatnot. So he pays rent to us and helps out with the groceries when asked, and, generally buys fast food, every once a week for us. But he had been paying her rent, and she had just been tucking it away for the holidays, for Christmas, our daughter's birthday, and then Christmas coming up. And so she actually had enough money set aside in order to get a new water heater. So that was our task for the next day, was to remove the old one. And of course, this was solid bootstraps territory, since he's the one that deals with all of that. So getting the old one out was far more challenging than installing the new one. But we got a good one and put it in there. So it was a couple, 3 or 4 hours work, because we literally had to. The old one wasn't draining, so we had to disconnect it and then tilt it forward, upon which it goes, you got 50 gallons of water, and that's really heavy. That we had to lay flat, but we got it undone. We got it installed. So it's like, okay, yay. We'll have one more thing to haul off to the dump, because that still needed to be done. So the next day, it was on the weekend. I think it was Saturday. It's like we got the trailer all hooked up and all the electricity set and everything. And when I say trailer, I'm talking like a 4x4 little bitty trailer that maybe you would use to haul a jet ski that we've put, wood on, where we can just put yard trash and whatnot in it. And it was stacked up to the top, and it sat there for quite a while, since we had cleaned out, what was our son's room and turned it into the studio and gotten rid of his old mattress and everything. So we're driving across the yard, and we're pulling up alongside of the trailer, and all of a sudden I hear, and I just knew what it was instantly, that something had punctured the sidewall of the tires. And it was just like, oh my God, somebody hates me up there. It's like, so not only did we just have to put out $500 for the damn water heater that we couldn't afford, now we're looking at money for the tires, because it wasn't just a simple puncture. A stupid root, the root of a shrub had somehow managed to puncture the sidewalls of tires. And I'm just going, oh my God, because, if you just get a nail or something in there, they sell those little plug patch kits, you can do it yourself, but not this. No, it had literally went through the sidewall, and there's nothing you can do except replace the tires. And of course, they don't want to sell tires in just one at a time, and you shouldn't do that anyway. So it's going to be at least a pair. So it's, once again, we have to walk in, and we're just standing there, and our wife is like, oh no, what happened? You are like the the universe's straight man. If there's a guy that's going to get a pie in the face, it's going to be you. And we're like, yeah, basically. And again, we're almost in tears. And it's just so we ended up having to go and get 4 new tires, literally after we had just paid for the damn water heater. Just one thing after the other. But wait, there's more. So we managed to get the tires done. And then we did manage to actually get to the dump. It's like I'm figuring the whole time. It's like, oh, great, I'm going to puncture another damn tire again. Is my run of bad luck not done yet? Or rather, this is Bootstrap's thinking, since he basically dealt with all of the doing of this. And no, fortunately, we were able to get there and get it done back. But getting out of the tub the next day, our foot catches the lip of the tub and breaks our toe. So it's like, oh my God, it was so purple. So we just, was this last week or was it the week before? Anyway, maybe the week before that. It was just one thing after another. It's like kicking you when you're down. It's like, damn it, it's like, why does all this crap happen when you're just barely stringing along paycheck to paycheck? But fortunately, due to our wife's foresight and tremendous, she's on top of that kind of thing, we were able to squeak it through. I mean, Christmas is going to be real thin this year. It's like she said, Christmas is the tires and the water heater. And it's like, that's okay. That's all we need, but still, it's like one of these, God damn it, But job and therapy. So, 6 of one, half of it is the other. The scales balance out. So yeah, that's been our month. Now you guys are caught up on how the month has been. And so it's been a bit of a roller coaster. And of course, we're also dealing with, the traumaversaries. The holidays are infamously and famously hard for trauma victims. It's just because a lot of the abuse would occur on or around the holidays. So yeah, it's been a thing. Actually, we've done really well for Thanksgiving so far. We were able to, recognize any trauma patterns that started to rear their little ugly heads, and when we started to get that feeling of winding up tight inside, we were able to, just breathe through it and work. And actually, we had a good quiet holiday and whatnot. So yay for us on that. Now, of course, we've got the big challenge coming up, which is Christmas and New Year's, because Christopher's trauma was very right around that time period. So, but yeah, that's how our month has been. It hasn't been a lot of fun, but takes with one hand and gives with the other. We'll see how it goes. Oh yes, and in the middle of all that, we managed to actually make the cooking with Rosemary happen, which made me, as Chris, profoundly uncomfortable, but we managed to do it. So, yeah, that was a struggle, particularly for me, because everything has to be just so, and we have to have the time, and it's, the convergence of the sun and the moon and the stars and everything. But I had made a promise to Rosemary and to you guys that we would get that episode done because she was wanting her time out. So, and I had promised the last live stream that the next thing that you saw from us would be that. And so I kept that promise, because if we make a promise, our grandfather taught us that the difference between a man and a boy is when a man makes a promise, he keeps it. You keep your word, because your word is your bond. And that's how we've always been. So if we promise to do something, by hell or high water, we're going to make it happen. So, yeah, that was our month. Let's get back to the chat log now that we've talked your ears off. Oh, let's see here. Blue Rose is saying, haven't had the energy yet, but we loved Rosemary Cooks and we're looking forward to try to make the carrot cake. Yeah, it came out really well. Didn't stick around the house long. She was very pleased with that recipe. 5 Pieces of 9 have some stuff that is intense, though, and informative about the darker things. Yeah, and we like the new video header that you've been doing on that for sure. 5 Pieces of 9, always good to see it. Lisa saying, still enjoying the videos you share, very deep and thought-provoking. That's a great way to put their content, because they do. They have a unique style, and we really like the way that they present their content. So if you guys haven't been familiar, go over and check out 5 Pieces of 9's channel. Might gain some insight there and some comfort there. Let's see, Oxymoron saying, I love the academic videos. Data is very much appreciated here. Well, thank you very much for that. JJ, when you go to a new therapist, you have to go through all the trauma stuff again. And how much do you tell them initially? Yes. Yes, we do. We have to go over it all over again, which is literally what we just did in our last session. We dealt with the basic trauma because obviously you're walking in a new therapist. She doesn't know you, doesn't know the system, doesn't know any of the trauma. So the first couple sessions are getting the family history down, identifying the A and P, seeing how stable the client, i.e. me, us, is, and what they've learned. We're actually kind of ahead of the class, as it were, because we've had 4 years to come to terms with our multiplicity, to settle into that fact, and to already have done some, trauma work, or at least for Christopher's trauma work. That was how we knew that we needed therapist, was because we kept, getting the trauma bowls coming up, and we are not qualified to work through that trauma by ourselves. We're not stable enough. We're not capable enough doing it. We're not professionals. We need a trauma therapist in order to work through that. So that was our whole mission, and that was the thing that we kept saying to them when we switched. It's like, yes, we're familiar, so we don't really need help settling in, or we'll always take additional tools, but we've pretty much got our tools that we use, that we work. Here's where we're at on our journey. We're at the point where we've learned the trauma patterns. We're able to peel back that onion and then take the corrective actions. Not all the time, but most of the time. The percentage of that is going up. So yeah, unfortunately, there is that, getting to know you type of a thing. We know, for example, like we were saying earlier, because our therapist sends us an Outlook, note thing, and she had down on it, discuss twins, Jenny and Jane, which is some of Christopher's real heavy trauma there. So yeah, we're going to be revisiting ground that we've already trodden before. But we expected that, and at least this time it should be less stressful than it was, since we've already dealt with it, come to terms with it, and are at least familiar with it, so it's not coming out of left field. There may be more that comes out that we don't know about during that time period. We know that we're not done with all of Christopher's trauma, and we haven't even begun to touch on Susie's. John's, we did just a little bit, as those of you who have listened to that therapy session on John's story. We had just gotten his stuff when, unfortunately, the whole thing fell through, and we went for 2 years without a therapist, which did not please Mimi whatsoever, because she's very protective of John, and she was kind of like, WTF, we just start to get into his stuff and I'm after he is, and now we just have to let everything set. She wasn't very happy about that, but there also wasn't anything that we could do. So yeah, JJ, unfortunately, we are going to have to, recover that stuff. And yeah, it will impact us, and it'll impact us emotionally, because even though we've worked through it, the natural propensity and the natural feeling is to want to try to shove it off to the side. La la la, I don't want to deal with this. Those are the EPs, and the AMPs must avoid the EPs. We don't want to deal with this shit. We have to function in the outside world. That's what we do. We don't want to deal with the trauma. That's the EP's job. I'm an ANP. I'm a happy little ANP here, and I'm going to do my thing in the outside world and do everything that I can to avoid the trauma that's sitting over there. So yeah, we're expecting there to be ups and downs, but we've got tools now, and we're not as much in crisis as we were in 2019 when we started this whole journey, and the bomb dropped inside of our life and just went. It's like, okay, yeah, you're telling me I have what? I have what now? So yeah, we're more stable now, so hopefully the trauma work will go better. Let's see, 5 Piece of 9, we got the counselor. Yes, we did. We went ahead, and our old clinic that we went back to, they managed to shake one out for us well above the year's point in time, and she is familiar with trauma work, and she is familiar with DID. We've had 2 sessions with her. We're going in for a third on Wednesday, right after our interview on Tuesday. So keep your fingers crossed for us. Let's see, Lisa Browers. Oh, geez, got to run, guys. So glad I made it today. Hugs to all. Take care, Lisa. We'll see you. Be safe out there. 420 Witch, your birthday in 10 days. Happy birthday. Let's see. 5-piece-9 talking to Lisa and thanking them. Yeah, that's an excellent point there that we missed. 5-piece-9 saying to JJ, if you want, you can have your previous counselor share their notes. And we do have all of those records. We just didn't want to hit our our therapist or counselor with everything right off the bat, because I mean the stack of paper is little. We talk about a 4-inch thick stack of paper. We're not joking. And it has all of the treatment notes in there. We were literally for the last session trying to draw up a chart, of who was what and when and where the splits occurred. And it's like, we're going to need a bigger piece of paper. Let's see here. Talking to 5-pieces-9. Host is having a difficult time learning about all the trauma because the alters are using him as a liaison. Yes, the man in the middle, the telephone operator. The Daft Willie, sue the tree. It is very clearly responsible. Yeah. Actually, we didn't sue it, but we did cut it off at the ground level. That was out of spite when we came back, when we were hooking up the trailer. The second time, making careful sure that we didn't hit the thing. It's like we got our great big lawn clippers and went and took it right down to the ground. It's like, you are not going to puncture another one of my tires, you little bastard. So yeah. We got revenge on the little shrub. The tough roots, though, man, I gotta tell you. 420, which they do say it comes in threes. Sounds like an eventful week. Yeah, when it rains, pretty much it pours. That was definitely it. Enterprise crew. Hi, all. Chris, so sorry to hear about your crappy month. Is what it is. You just gotta get through it. But thank you. Blue Rose 5, that sounds intense for your host, but very understandable. We kind of have the same system, but our host wants to know everything to get everything the support that they need. It's still a very hard job. Yeah, this is me / Chris, the host core here. I often feel like a diplomat or a switchboard operator trying to juggle everybody else as well as my own needs. Which then leads to the host core conundrum. Am I actually the original host or core, or am I just simply another A&P that's been created somewhere along to fill the role? Who is Chris? Do we know Chris? Is Chris real? You guys know where that spiral goes. Let's see, where are we at? 235. We're still doing pretty good. Let's see, Oxymoron saying, oh no, that's so mean, referring to the bad days, I'm assuming. Let's see, 5-piece-9, and yeah, sharing with Blue Rose. Oxymoron saying to us, you're allowed to take time off when you need it. Even when you promise something. Please care for yourself. Yeah, thank you for that. The thing is that it's not taking a break, it becomes avoidance. Because allowing Mimi and Rosemary to front and to take over the front and to dress the way that they do and the way that they like their identity as a female is profoundly uncomfortable for and to me. So I, like any good A&P, will avoid. I will avoid doing it. There will always be an excuse. There will be something that isn't quite right. Like I said, this is the sun, the moon, and the stars aligning in order to get everything done. But a great deal of it comes on my part. I have to be willing to let go and trust that it's going to be all right, that they'll let me back at the front when it's my turn again, because I do not experience these things with them. I am not there. I only come back into the picture on this when I sit down and I pull up the footage in the editing program and I find out exactly what was done and what was said, because it's not there. So for me, it's always a squiggly, strange situation when I sit down and I begin to edit these things. It's like Percival, we co-con pretty well. So it's not quite as complete amnesia, but even so, he'll come out with some comment or something that I don't remember any of this. And I'll be like, oh man, it's like he'll constantly be apologizing to me because he has to do multiple takes of some things because it has to be right, in capital letters with periods after them. So he'll do 4, 5, 6 takes and he'll be like, sorry. And then I'll be like, yeah, you buddy. so it's not that we're pushing ourselves to get the content out. We set out from square one not wanting to do that, and we've towed pretty close to the mark on that. So it's not that we're hurting ourselves. It's that I've got to get over myself and my position as core administrator, ANP in chief, in order to let the ladies out to do what they're going to do, and to see the body as Mimi or dressed up as Rosemary is profoundly uncomfortable to me. It's not that my sexuality is in question, because I'm a straight, 52, 53-year-old white man, but they are a 13-year-old girl and an age indeterminate, 1940s style housewife type of a thing. So there's a wide disparity and a wide gap in between the two of them, and they have their own personality. So when I'm standing there looking at it, there's a part of me that's wincing interior and going, oh my God, this is just too weird. There's no way I can possibly upload this. What the hell are people going to think about me? So there's that whole tumult. There's that whole battle that's going on the inside. But we laid down the rules of the channel where anybody who wants to use the channel to produce content of whatever variety they would like to produce has that freedom to do so. So it's like if Mimi wants to come out and she wants to talk about something, like she wanted to share our, spill the trauma tea the last time that she was out, I have to, within the certain bounds that we've set, I have to be willing to do that. I have to live up to my end of the bargain and let her out in order to do that, which includes putting on the makeup and getting dressed up. I mean, Rosemary has a more cohesive outfit, the one that she was wearing, but still, it's really damn hard and it's really damn uncomfortable for me to look at that and edit the film and to see the body that I'm accustomed to not looking at in the mirror, because looking at a mirror isn't still, don't do that. Something that was drilled into us and something that is just not comfortable anyway. But it's and part of it is when I was raised, in the 70s and the 80s, it's like that really was not, socially acceptable. So I do have some generational, issues that I have to deal with in my as well. So yeah, but again, I have to keep my end of the bargain. I have to play by the same rules that the others do, even though I'm the one with the ultimate control, because I am the editor. I'm the guy that goes in and I'm the one cutting the footage and putting it together and, doing the edits and putting in all the graphics and everything. And yeah, overcoming that impulse to not edit, or, those things out. Like when Mimi was sharing the trauma tea, she's saying things that frankly I was not comfortable with necessarily sharing, but because she did it and she did it within the rules and in a respectful manner, I had to keep up my end of the bargain, which, it's like for those of you who've had kids, kind of what I'm talking about here. So yeah. So no, we're not trying to overproduce the content, but it's following through on my part, which is why I had to make the promise, okay, the next thing that you see from us will be Rosemary's segment, because that way I can't fudge it and go, oh, I'm going to record a vlog while we're still working over here, because that will lead to it not getting done. I have to force myself to do it, to get it done, to make the circumstances work, to get everything set up so that she can just step in, be herself, do her thing, and then, I be me again and edit it and put it up. So I know we went on and on about this for a while, but just trying to make you understand the process that we go through, or that I go through for this. So, but thank you, Oxy. Circadian Anarchist, hello. Haven't seen you in a while. 5 Piece a Night Giggles have been a system for 15 years, which is a long time. We've been a system all our lives. We just didn't know it. Let's see here. Talking about trafficking back in self. 5 Piece of 9 talking to Daft Wooly. System was going to fire Cloud as host last year, but no one else wanted to front and host. Yeah, they don't want the job. Let's see here. Existential questions, sips tea. Absolutely, Derek. We get into them here because, so much of this damn thing is existential. It's like, what is identity? What is reality? We have to take everything that we learned or thought that we learned in life and turn it on its ear and relearn everything. It's like learning to walk again. It's like, do you remember what it was like to actually be a child? No, just wait until one of your littlest fronts. Then you'll remember. 420 Wedge, therapist is going to ask my doctor to send me to a psychiatrist to get diagnosed and sending me to get asset for autism spectrum disorder. Good, which may lead to more therapy. Let's see here. Therapist has recorded a session with a little. Watching that back was an experience. Blue Rose says, yeah, we haven't. Well, no, that's not entirely true because we did record she wanted us to record an art session that Christopher had, but that's the only time that we've ever actually had him on camera as it was. And yeah, that was weird to watch. So we feel you there, Blue. Let's see. Therapist, we're just catching up on the comments here. Let's see, Blue Rose, for what it's worth, we're so proud of you to let Rosemary be herself. Thank you. We'll take the validation. Thank you. Let's see, 41, same, fingers crossed they take the time and know what they're doing. Yeah, I have all the mirrors covered in cloud is the only one that can see the body and not freak out. Yeah, we don't like mirrors. Don't like mirrors, and you know why. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to the mirror problem there. Let's see here. Well aware that we are system spectrum. We don't really like to look in a, yeah, Blue Rose is saying they don't like to look in a mirror as well. So unsettling and uncomfy. Well, when you don't know who it is that's looking back at you, how are you supposed to be comfortable with it? Okay, 420 much. Yay for wanting to understand instead of chasing a diagnosis. Absolutely. Wow, are we caught up on the chat log? It's unusual for us. Top chat. No, live chat. All messages are visible. Yep, we're caught up. Okay, so it was about 2:45 or so. Let's see, 5 pieces of 9, that's saying that they've been aware they were a system since 2007. For us, it was 2019. Although I suppose you could say that we were always aware that there was something different, that we were different from the other kids and whatnot. We thought it was normal. We thought it was normal that everybody had voices in their heads that talked to and argued with each other, that you could play with, you know. For us, it was normal. It never occurred to us that it was not until we were told otherwise. Time to relearn your life. Let's see. Wiley Shadowstar saying mirrors are so difficult and pictures. Yeah, absolutely. Derek saying that they got to get to work. Was great to catch another. Catch y'all later. Bye, Derek. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. C420, which is saying I don't have and refuse to use full-length mirrors. Hate them. Make me feel uncomfy. Small mirrors are still hard to use. Yeah, unfortunately, our bathroom has several of those. There's 1, 2, and then one off to the side. 3 mirrors. We used to have a great big floor-to-ceiling length one that was over on the diagonal wall by the tub there, but our wife didn't like that one either, so she had us take that down, which was an interesting afternoon in and of itself because that thing was not as well secured as I thought it was, and it shattered when we were taking it down. But one less mirror, because you could literally get that mirror in a mirror reflection thing going there. But yeah, mirrors are bleh. Also windows at night, windows that are uncovered at night, that bleh. Same trigger. Of course, we have a theory about why on that one, and it has to do with little booths and darkness and nasty trauma-based things. But oh, let's see here. It's so weird looking back and trying to understand that so many things you thought were normal were actually symptoms. Yes, exactly. We're right there with you. 5 piece of 9 is saying that since childhood, it was believed that Timmy was an inner child, and then it was, I'm real, not make-believe. Yeah. Oh, yes, just a second. Oh. Come on. You sound so pitiful. You come in, man? You want us to open the window a little bit? It's a little warm in this room. Of course, now we'll have the sound of the construction going on in the other lot. Let's see here. Oxy's saying they had a Zoom meeting today and found it really difficult to see us talk. Still no idea who did the talking. Well, you got through it, so at least there's that. Let's see, Deftwell is saying, lol, isn't it funny what can be normal to you, especially before therapy? I distinctly remember telling a friend that I thought was a funny story and just got shocked faces and, are you okay? Or the one where you'll run across people who are like, oh my God, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. How's so-and-so and so-and-so? And you're like, do I know you? I don't, who are you? You know, and it's like, I don't know if you guys have ran across that one, but we used to get that every once in a while where it's like, oh, hey, how's it going? You know, how's so-and-so? How have you been doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. And it's like, I don't know you, forgive me, but I have no idea who you are. Are you sure you got the right person? What? You just wanted in and now you want out again? Yeesh. Seeing that Zoom. Telehealth minimizes the self-image that is shown. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll let you back out. God, you are such a cat. All right. Here you go. Fine. I'm just going to let Mr. Squirrel keep the door open. Otherwise, he's going to be in and out and in and out and in and out. We'll be wrapping up in about 10, 15 minutes anywho, so. I don't know if you find it or not, Five, but with us, the telehealth, we prefer, particularly for therapy and whatnot, we need the in-person type of a thing. You just, I don't know, at least for us, we didn't have the sense of security that we needed through with telehealth. It just didn't feel right. So we're glad that it's now in person. Although the only thing is with her room or office or the therapy room that we're in, it's got three, you've seen how important spacing and everything, you know, and getting it organized is to us. Witness the wall back here. This thing has 3 abstract paintings, you know, like those wall set triptych things, you know, where you put them up. And 2 of them are perfectly centered, but the one on the end is cockeyed and it bugs us every time we're in that room. I have to resist the urge to get up and straighten the painting. Which actually the first time that we were there, I surreptitiously tried to do when she was walking out of the room when we were leaving the session. And unfortunately, the stupid thing is glued to the wall, so I'm never going to be able to straighten that. And it's a constant thorn in my mind. So, yeah, little things that you obsess over. Let's see here. Wiley's saying, I get what you mean about Zoom. We tend to keep our camera off for work meetings and blame the bad network. 5 Piece of 9. Do I know you? Yeah, we fake it for that and play along. Yeah, exactly. Kaleidoscope. Hello, welcome. Better late than never. You still got about another 15, 20 minutes before we kick off because somebody just made some leftover turkey and it's smelling really good. Of course, our wife is also making turkey gumbo tonight, so something to look forward to because she's from the South and does the gumbo thing. Let's see here. Blue was saying also, we got called a different name a couple of times. Minimizing image does not help that much. We can't stop looking. If we can, we leave the camera off. Yeah, we feel you, Oxy. Kaleidoscope saying, almost forgot the live stream today. That's okay. That's okay. You can always come back and, you know, watch it later. Enterprise Crew saying to Daft Woolly, always fun when you tell what you think is a normal life, am I right, story, and your listeners go, what the, yeah. 5 Pieces of 9 is saying, oh, absolutely, in person is required. The pandemic caused issues, so we had to telehealth, yeah. Yeah, that was a rough part for us, too. We could not deal with telehealth. We need her in person, too. Yeah, Blue is saying the same thing. OCD at its best. We have straightened things on our counselor's desk. Yeah, it's like we had to be so repetitious and do it, but we are that person that will straighten the pictures in other people's homes. We can't help it. It's like this compulsion that it has to be perfect. Let's see here. We tend to straighten everything everywhere, so it's not just us. Totally thought it was normal for years to find accounts online attached to my email I didn't know the password for and didn't remember making. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, at least we know that it's not just us. Yeah, see, these are all the things that you just simply come to accept as normal in your life, and it turns out, or you're not aware of the fact until much, much later that no, neurotypicals do not experience things this way. So like one of the things that irritated and still irritates us a little bit is when we'll be like talking with our family and they'll say, "Oh, well, you said so and so." We'll talk about something or give our opinion, and they'll be like, "No, because you said that you didn't like so and so, and or whatever it was, and it's the opposite of what we remember." And for that moment, we're going, "Why are you people trying to gaslight us? I distinctly remember this, and I've mentioned this before." And they have to go, "It's like, no, honey, you said such and such," and it's like. You can't even rely on your own memories or your own memory process because you don't know what was said when, and it's extremely frustrating. And we've had to come to uh, just basically trust our family that yeah, we said this at some point in time, or somebody did. And so there's a lot of times when we just basically just have to shrug and go, well, there's DID for you. And unfortunately, they don't hold it against us or anything, but it can be profoundly frustrating to your sense of self when you run across something like that. You find out that you have it far less together than you thought that you did. Well, if that makes any sense. Let's see here. We are going to go ahead and close out soon. We're at about 3 o'clock straight up. Let's take a few more questions here. Where are we here? Didn't straighten everything everywhere. Okay, let's see. Daft Willie, hold up. Gumbo, looking up flight, save you a plate. Well, actually, it would be a bowl, but yeah, she makes some good gumbo too. So good old down south cooking. Of course, we joke her that the Cajuns, they'll eat just about anything, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we will." Blue Rose is saying that their former therapist used to distract us by asking what was different in her office or in a different place. We always could rattle off everything different or out of place. Yeah, like those games, the memory game, or anything that deals with the face down, face up. We've always been very good at those things. We actually ran across a Perfection. You remember Perfection with all of the different colored shapes and the yellow shapes of different sizes that you had to put into the shapes in the red thing before it pops up and it goes everywhere. We ran across that in the store the other day when we were with our daughter. It's like, oh, Perfection. We used to play that all the time because that was one of the games that nobody else ever wanted to play. See, in elementary school, we would always play the leftover games in the cabinet, like Mastermind or Perfection. Or there was I don't know if it was a teaching aid or whatnot, but it had packets full of different geodesic shapes. It's like you can make a pyramid or a dodecahedron or something like that. And we love to mess around with that because it, appealed to our sense of order. We just didn't realize why. Oh, let's see. But yeah, that's, I'm not sure our therapist would do that, but that's a good exercise then. Well, let's see here. Blue Goyle. Oh, I must have been hacked. I was not. Yeah, exactly. 5 Piece of Nine saying they require normalcy so that we have at least some things around us that are okay. Yeah, we feel you. Blue Goyle, absolutely the feeling like people are gaslighting you, but not being sure of your own reality to call it out is torturous. Sometimes it's like, yeah, and it's kind of like that trust fall thing that you're supposed to do in groups. You just basically have to trust your family and your loved ones and your support system around you to tell you the truth and say, yeah, you really did this, because you're more or less at their mercy. If they wanted to gaslight you, they totally could, and there wouldn't be a goddamn thing that you would be able to do about it. So, kind of a responsibility for them as well. And hopefully, you find you have a support system that takes that seriously and doesn't take advantage of that type of thing, because Because of the trauma bonding and the patterning, we are much more susceptible to being taken advantage of. This is a fact. Let's see here, Blue Rose says, after lining up all of our belongings, the first thing we did meeting our therapist was straightening her things on her desk. Actually, yes, our first trauma therapist, not the current one, but that was one of the first things that we did, because we had our wallet and our sunglasses case and our cell phone and a pad to take notes and a pen. So we had 5 items, and the first thing that we did upon sitting down in the room is we took them all out of our pockets and we set them there in a row, carefully spaced next to each other on her corner of her desk. She was typing, info into the computer or something, and she turns around and she sees us, just with this row of perfectly arranged things, and she just got this curious look, and she's like, oh, so what is this? And, without missing a beat, I think it was data, it's like we said, well, if we had to analyze it, we'd say that we're desperately asserting, or let's see, what's it? If we had to say so, it's because we're desperately trying to assert control over a situation whereupon we have no control. And she just kind of leaned back in her chair and went like this, and it's like, okay, now I got it. Now I have an idea of who and what I'm dealing with here. So yeah, just a little OCD ourselves. So that's funny, Blue Rose, because we did almost exactly the same thing. Maldwin saying, so sorry for being quiet, just listening to the chatter today, sending lots of love and hugs to everyone that wants or needs them. Thank you, Maldwin. Hugs are always welcome. Let's see here. Hi and thanks. Maldwin, take some hugs. Everybody huggy, 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 which is good. Okay, it's about 3 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and start to close out the stream. So what's coming up on the channel next? Well, Rosemary has had her piece. Percival wants to do one more little stories before the end of the year, but he's finding it difficult to find a holiday one, because we've already done Rudolph and Santa's Toy Shop the night before Christmas and the Pokey Little Puppy's First Christmas, but we're still looking around. We need to go to the used bookstore to see if we can find something that is Christmas themed. He has a backup chosen, so the littles will have at least one more little stories time before the end of the year. Not planning on any informational pieces. We were kind of halfway contemplating re-uploading the holiday pieces, the tips for system supports and for systems themselves to help deal with the holidays, but we don't really like the process of re-uploading content. But by the same token, we've had a lot of new members since then join the channel. And by the way, welcome to everybody who's a new member. Thanks for subscribing. We're glad that you're here. So we've kind of been toying with the idea of maybe re-uploading one of those just to refresh folks who might not have caught the tips the first time. But again, we're kind of like, that kind of goes against our principles. So what do you guys think? Would you object to a re-upload of those? They're like under 7 minutes, I think, videos giving the tips and tricks that we gave last year to help deal with the holiday issues and whatnot. Hit us with your thoughts in the comment section there, or in the actual comments of the live stream, or just on the community page or whatnot. And we may do that, but really the only thing that we've got left on our plate for this year is Percival with a new little story. And we got a lot of new sheep that will be, I think we got about 20 new sheep. So I'm going to have to start cracking and getting the sheep names on the sheep so that he can call them out while they're walking across the screen there. So I think that's about it. We're going to go ahead and close out the stream here. Sorry for you folks that have, come in at the last minute here, but we're getting hungry and that turkey is smelling really good. And we need another cup of tea too, because we're kind of dragging a bit. So let's check up on the chat log here before we call it a day. Where were we? Took some hugs. Everybody's hugging. Said the pretty much same thing. Okay, Blue Rose is saying we pretty much said the same thing to our therapist about attempting to exert control over a situation where you have no control. Yeah. Talk about your honest answers. Leslie Daft Willie saying, yeah, especially in gaslighting is part of your trauma. Absolutely. That it's hard to learn. It took years to trust people enough to trust their version of events. Yeah, we were gaslit hardcore too throughout the abuse process. So the learning that not everyone is a liar and that you can actually, trust what they say was kind of as big a revelation as everything else. 420 Witch, the Velveteen Rabbit is Christmas. No, I'm not sure. We would have to go through and find it and read it. So I will. Velveteen Rabbit. I'm making a mental note to look that one up. Okay, have a good one, you guys. Thanks for the stream. Holiday videos were so helpful to us, the Enterprise crew. Okay. 5 Piece of 9 is saying to us, what is the deal with re-uploading or anyone else? It's bad practices for a channel. It's lazy, essentially, because you're re-uploading something that you've always done. I don't know. In the earlier days of YouTube, it used to be a much bigger thing. It's not something that we like to do or have done, but we were thinking about that because they're short videos, and we did them pretty well, and a lot of people last year found they were helpful. So we were just contemplating just doing a re-upload on those, just so that the information is out there for folks who might not have been digging through our content. And even though I think we've got them on a playlist, so we might do that, we might not. We just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys and see if you thought maybe that would be something. Everything old is new again, but as a principle, we don't like to do that. It feels lazy, Let's see here. Oxymoron is saying, what about making a short video saying that the other videos are out there and linking them? Yeah, but even that, because the videos themselves are so short that that would kind of be the same thing, so we might as well just re-upload them. I don't know. We'll decide that in the next week or so. Should you re-upload stuff? No, only if you want to or don't want to. It's an individual choice. Circadian saying nothing wrong with re-uploading or revisiting the same topics. Thank you, Chris. Bye all. Have a good night. All for Oxymoron's idea. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see how we do it. Maybe a community post just saying, hey, if you guys are experiencing difficulties, we'll figure it out. Lugoel, thanks for streaming. It was awesome to be able to catch one. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Bye all. Witchy loves and hugs. Let's see. Just DM you on Insta, the name in case you forget. Yeah, Velveteen Rabbit. Thank you very much for that. Just link them to this. Anna Santanas, howdy, love the wall deco. Thank you very much. Hi, Anna. And we're also unfortunately going to be saying bye because we are closing out the stream now. We've been going for about 2 hours and we're hungry, so we're going to go grab some grub. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for helping to support the channel. If any of you want to do so, please check out the link in the description below, but only choose to contribute to Just Buy a Coffee if you have the money to do so, and if you're able to do so, take care of yourselves first. But every little bit helps, particularly around holiday time. Keep your money for yourself, but if you do want to contribute, help support the channel, that's where you'll find it down in the description below. Buymeacoffee.com, we've got the link down there. And thank you for all of those of you who have chosen to contribute. Every little bit does help, and we are very deeply grateful for that. So, upcoming on the channel, little stories for the littles before Christmas. We'll try to find something Christmas themed, but if not, we've got one, I think it's called the Baby Chipmunk or whatnot. He was looking through them the other night. No more informational points or pieces unless we decide to re-upload. I think that's about it. All right, we'll go ahead and close it out. Everybody remember, you are loved, you are strong, and you are not alone. All right, guys, everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you may celebrate, and just stay safe out there and self-care, guys. All right, thanks. We'll catch you on the flip side.